Hey guys, in this video I just wanted to talk about Doom the Dark Ages and why, as myself being a new Doom fan, I actually had no interest in the game and ended up not getting it. And I just kind of wanted to vent my thoughts, see if anyone else can relate, because I saw the player count and it is drastically lower than Eternal was. So I assume there's a lot of people that feel the same way as I do, but I just want to kind of put my thoughts out there and see what people think. So, Doom the Dark Ages. Where to start? First off, the game costs $80. I believe Doom Eternal and Doom 2016 each cost $60, and I know this is a new trend. Ever since Nintendo, announced their price hiking, everyone's kind of following suit, hiking up prices. But it's not even the problem of the game being $80. It's the problem of the game not being good value proposition. Does that make sense? It's the fact that the game is in no way better than Eternal. In a lot of ways, I would say it's worse, but we'll get into that later in the video. And yet it costs $20 more. So at a glance, it's just bad value. People are probably going to wait for a sale. So that's number one. $80. Too expensive. Just wait for a sale. Second, Force Online. Why do we have Forced Online in a single player game? This is a Doom game. It's a single player game. We don't need Forced Online. This is an old meme. Companies should have learned this long ago that gamers hate this, and yet they keep forcing it upon us. So it's personally not a deal breaker for me, but I would totally understand people who just can't stand this, because it is a big pet peeve of mine as well. Thirdly, and this really shocked me, shit performance. Doom 2016 and Eternal were both praised for having very good optimization. I only have a 1080 Ti, and back then it was a lot more powerful, relatively. But I remember I would get 144 FPS, 1080p, easily. It wasn't even a problem. And Dark Ages, I assume it has something to do with the Forced Denuvo anti-cheat because it's always online. I don't know why the hell you need an anti-cheat in a single player game, but they did it and they fucked up their performance because of it. So that's another reason you would probably have to get a new system. At least I would have to get a new system to play this game because I still have a 1080 Ti. But granted, that's my own problem. But it's still a big issue that the performance of this game is just not up to snuff when you compare it to 2016 and Eternal, which, again, were universally praised for their very good optimization and performance. Next, the soundtrack. Mick Gordon's not here anymore. There was that big drama. I'm not going to get into it all here. You can look it into if you want. But basically, they kicked Mick Gordon out for some bullshit, like political shit. Basically, you can guess he was politically incorrect, and they just couldn't work with him anymore. Because that's how a lot of these modern game devs are. You have to toe the line, and you can't say anything controversial, have any opinion of your own, otherwise they can't work with you. So they kicked him out, and the game suffers a lot for that. A big part of any game, of any medium, any media, is music, is the sound, is the audio. And the audio cues in this game, I think, are fine, but the soundtrack is just not as good as Eternal. It's not as good as 2016. It's just not as, it doesn't have the soul that Mick Gordon has, right? I mean, go listen to BFG, right? Listen to that, and then listen to the Dark Ages soundtrack, and tell me that it's inspired, because it's not. It's just not the same. You can feel that soul missing, that passion that Mick Gordon had. It's just not there anymore. It's just kind of generic metal now. And it doesn't feel the same. So that's another big hit. No Mick Gordon. Kind of feels like the game is losing some of its soul. Another big controversy that I didn't really care much about, the physical copy fake out, as I call it. A lot of people bought physical copies of the game and were expecting to get discs of the game, and instead they got discs that were an activation code for the game. So then you still have to download the whole game anyway. So a lot of people are collectors. A lot of people are big fans of Doom. It's an old franchise. People have collected physical copies of every single game since the release. So people are probably excited to get a physical copy of Doom the Dark Ages, and that's probably the only reason they bought the physical copy for $80. And then they get it, and they find out that it's a fake, and that's actually just an activation key. Many such cases with modern AAA games these days selling physical copies, so that's totally understandable. Personally, I don't buy physical copies. I don't really have a reason to. I'm not a collector, but I understand why people would, and I understand why people would be upset over that. So, next, let's talk about the gameplay a little. You may have been watching this and be going like, wait a minute. There's a lot of big green and big red things coming at me. Well, that's parry and block. Green means parry. Red means block. And if you thought about, oh, well, maybe I'll just avoid that mechanic by moving out of the way, You can't. They literally are heat seeking to you. These big Simon Says like fire pillar from Mario flying at you. You have to block them or you have to parry them because they will literally track to you. So, in addition to that, what else I mean by Simon Says gameplay? Well, certain enemies, you kind of want to use certain weapons on them. You have to throw the shield at the right time. You have to parry at the right time. You want to use a specific weapon to kind of counter their weakness. This was a big problem in Eternal as well, but to a lesser extent, especially in the DLC, if you remember, there were enemies in Eternal that you had to snipe with the rifle in the head to kill them. And it was kind of like that. And there were other enemies where, oh, you want to use the Gauss Cannon against this enemy. And it's just, it's Doom. People just want to use a gun, shoot the demons with the gun, and then switch to another gun when they feel like it or when they run out of ammo. But they kind of changed that. Towards the end of Doom Eternal, and especially in Doom the Dark Ages, you are heavily incentivized to use certain abilities, certain attacks, certain weapons against certain enemies. So that's what I mean by Simon Says gameplay. Let's get into Parry. This is more gameplay. Parry Slop is what I call it. It's like kind of the problem that Souls games inflicted on the franchise. But you are heavily incentivized / forced to parry certain enemies to kill them or to just not die yourself. Enemies will shoot out these big waves with like a green bar and you have to move into the green bar and parry at the right time. And God forbid, a boss fight. I'm not joking. The last boss fight in this game, you can look it up yourself if you want. You have to parry 5 times consecutively to open up to attacking the boss. So he has a big green sword, he'll swing at you, boo, boo, you have to parry. No joke. 5 times in a row, you're parrying him, and then you get to shoot him. That's the gameplay. It is Parry Slop, as I coin it. This is a Doom game. People don't play Doom games to parry. People play Doom games to move fast, move around in arenas, dodge incoming attacks, dodge enemies, and shoot them with their gun. That's why people play Doom. Not to parry, not to throw a shield, not to be Captain America. No. To shoot their gun in their first-person shooter video game. It's really that simple. So I don't know why they did such a 180 on the formula. It's like they tried to overcorrect from the complaints that people had with Eternal. That, oh, I don't like having to like be incentivized to weapon swap. I don't like having to use certain weapons against certain enemies. I don't like the limited ammo. That was another reason that forced you to use multiple weapons in 2016 or in Eternal, forgive me. Is that you had very little ammo and you would run out of ammo quick, so you had to use a bunch of different weapons and then you would chainsaw and then you would get ammo back. That was dumb. So yeah, I think they should have just stuck with better gunplay and maybe kept the dash from Eternal. God, I miss the chain, or what is it? The grappling hook on the super shotty in Eternal. That was probably the best part of the game for me. And they removed that too. So it's sad. It's like they massively overcorrected from the criticism that people had with Eternal while kind of missing the point and doubling down in other aspects. Like you see here, the big green and red pillars and the Simon Says gameplay Parry Slop that I'm complaining about. So, yeah, this is just not for me. And I imagine this is just not what a lot of Doom fans wanted either. And then we're going to get into more minute complaints I have. Turret segments. Why does Doom, a game that emphasizes movement and a vast arsenal of weapons, have turret segments? Where you sit stationary on a turret and you shoot stuff. And as long as you hold left click or hold your trigger the whole time and don't stop shooting, you're not really in any danger. You're just shooting the big enemies that come at you, and it's like cinematic. It's pointless. It's a waste of time. It's not really gameplay. And yet they do it to pad the game. So turret segments. They don't belong in Doom. Think about a Doom. People that play Doom, they want to play Doom. They want to move around and shoot enemies. In addition, the dragon segments, there's kind of this use of the dragon to explore certain levels. So they'll have these vast levels and you have to get on your dragon and fly to a new point and then explore that area, get on the dragon and fly to a new point. That's fine if it's just for traversal and level exploration, but it's not. The dragon, I'm not going to pull up gameplay here, but the dragon has gameplay segments of its own, and it's basically exactly what you would think. It's Parry Slop. You fly the dragon, it kind of locks you in place, and then, oh, you got to either dodge up, dodge down, dodge left, or dodge right while you're shooting the thing. And that's the dragon gameplay. And there's a lot of it. And it's not good. And it could have just not been in the game at all, and the game would have been better for it. Let's also talk about the Titan segments. In addition to the dragon segments, the turret segments, there's even more padding with the titan segments where you're at a big mech and you run around, you fight giant demons in your mech. And it's kind of badass, I'm not going to lie. But the gameplay is trash and it's just padding. It's just, you get in the mech and you punch stuff and occasionally you shoot a big turret that blows up your enemy. And that's it. It's like, it's kind of like Punch-Out. That's actually what the gameplay feels like, is Punch-Out for the NES in a Doom game. Can't make this up, but that's what they did. So those are kind of my minute gameplay issues with all these weird force turret segments, dragon segments, big mech segments. No, people in Doom, they just want to be the Doom guy and play as the Doom guy and shoot stuff with the Doom guy. That's what people want from a Doom game. But it seems like they really, really tried to minimize that in this game. So it's kind of a bummer. But last but not least, the girl boss elements. Now, a lot of people, you might hear this and go, oh no, here we go. He's a chud. He hates women. You can say whatever you want. I don't really give a fuck. I think a lot of people felt the same way. But when you saw Crimson Chin, female girl boss in the trailer, you knew exactly what was going to happen. And I'm going to spoil it for you here. It is exactly what you thought. The girl boss character is literally the MacGuffin in the video game. She is the one with the superpowers who can save the Titans, or not the Titans, the Vikings, whatever they call themselves. The weird new Viking race. It's real. And this was everyone's fear when they saw this female character forced into Doom. And she is forced in. She kind of appears randomly in cutscenes when she has no business being there, and it didn't add anything to the plot. And she just shows up and tells Doom Guy something, and then Doom Guy leaves. It's like, okay, well, that was pointless. And yeah, you save her, and she's the super powered, she has like the super ancient god, like, think of like Cthulhu kind of powers. That's what she has. She is literally the MacGuffin character in the game, and you can't make it up. She's the only female character. So yeah, that might be a minor gripe to a lot of people, and a lot of you guys probably heard that and got angry and want to dislike the video now. But hey, a lot of people don't like that shit. I don't blame them. It's a Doom game. People don't want a story. People just want to run around shooting demons as Doom Guy. You can create the most thinly veiled, contrived story ever, and people wouldn't give a fuck. So why did they force in these extra characters? Why did they add in the girl boss? I mean, you can guess why, for investor purposes, but it definitely made the game worse, and it definitely added on to people's skepticism. So yeah, those are kind of the main reasons I could think of why I didn't buy Doom the Dark Ages, even though, again, I loved New Doom. I liked 2016, and I liked Eternal, even though a lot of people didn't, but I just had no interest in this game. And now, looking back on it, watching gameplay of it, I feel pretty justified in my decision not to buy this game for $80. Hey, maybe, just maybe, I'll buy it for like $10 when it's on sale in the future. But this game should not have been a full release for $80. It should have been like a DLC. The game should have been maybe 6 hours. It overstays its welcome. It has a lot of problems, and it just doesn't feel like Doom at the end of the day. So let me know what you guys think. If you agree, disagree, like, dislike, really leave a comment. I want to know if you were a fan of New Doom, if you like this iteration of New Doom, or maybe you hated all the iterations of New Doom, 2016 Eternal and Dark Ages, and just like the classic boomer shooter Dooms. I want to know what you think, because it is interesting. The gamers did not turn out for Dark Ages. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike if you dislike it, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. So, peace.